For me, life before I really came to actually have a real relationship with Christ was I hung out with the wrong crowd, did everything that I wasn't supposed to. I spent a lot of time chasing after empty promises, I think I could say. Promises I had made to myself, made to friends, and I lied a lot to people. Through that course, there was a lot of drug addiction and alcoholism that I struggled with, and I never thought I had a problem with it until about 26 years old, when everything kind of came crumbling down. My life was, I always thought I was in control when really I was just spiraling out of control. I'd say today, knowing that God has intervened in and through that and stepped in when I really truly needed help, and I really laid everything out and I just said, God, I can't do it anymore and I need your help. I think that's when I really started to see some kind of a light, to where I knew I could actually stand on my feet and hold my head high. I got along with being who I was by, for instance, like I played a lot of slow pitch softball. I played a lot of tournaments and I was really good, and I had a lot of guys calling me up to play all the time, and I spent a lot of time chasing that. And I think for me, that was kind of like a false idol for me, because I thought that those were my friends, and I didn't realize that they were just there just to use me, and for whatever reason. And I just kind of fell into that, knowing that it was an empty, and I wasn't really ever happy with it. So I think that was really hard when I had to stop, and I knew that that was something I had to give up to also pursue not just sobriety, but also a relationship with Christ. And I knew that it had to come first before I could actually, in all honesty, function again. I knew my life had to revolve around Christ and really rely on His wisdom and His glory through what His Son did on the cross. And I think when I realized that, that's when life kind of just opened up, and I started seeing these opportunities that people were talking about, that I kind of were like, those aren't opportunities for me, being it whether not just financial, but just freedom from the burden of living like you're chained down. And I think for me, Christ broke those chains in that just the way he kind of broke the veil, and he came like a rebel to that culture, and he just completely did everything that they were not ready for, and he just surprised them. And I think that's why he was rejected. Knowing Christ has just changed my life in an aspect that I see my kids, and I see the gift I'm given through them, and just the ability to be able to be a father. And it's so funny to say, but that was actually one of my biggest goals in my life, was to be a married husband and to have kids. And here I am, I'm sitting here now, I'm blessed with 4 kids, and I have a beautiful wife, and my life, sometimes crazy, is exactly where I know it's supposed to be. And that's happiness for me. I used to think, getting MVP for a tournament was happy, or being the best on the team, or being better than everyone else was that's what gave me pride. That more fed my ego than really fed my spirit. And seeing where I'm at now with my life, if I look back at it, I don't think there's a there's not one thing I'd change. I look at my life and say, you know, God let me lead that course. And the thing that blows my mind all the time is that God has always been in control. And he's always been there. He's always seen me fall. He's seen where I've gone and where I'm coming from and and he knows he's guiding my plan and he's guiding my life, and that's just awesome. Even when I walked away from him, he always was there waiting for me and always knocking on the door. And I think that's something to chase after, and that's something that we should all chase after, because he's constantly knocking on the door. He never gives up, and even when we're in our darkest days, he's right there, and he's standing there waiting with his hand ready to hold our hand and walk us through it. And I think that's what's been the most amazing thing for me. My name is Branden Wenger, and that's my story.